It's a new week. It's time for another episode of the Remodeler Show. Move my microphone a little closer today. It's Monday, August 10th, 2020. We're already a third of the way through August. Actually, we're a little under a third of the way. Here's a fun thing you can do. If you hold your hands in front of you like this, and you start with your left pinky, it's kind of a tall knuckle, short, tall, short, tall, short, tall, tall. That tells you it's like the first one is January. That means it's 31 days. February is low, so it's obviously we know it's not 30. And then March is high, April's low. So if you're ever wondering, does this month have 30 days or 31? That's how you figure it out, folks. So when I said August 10th and being a third of the way through, technically August is this knuckle, which is the tall. Therefore, we're not quite a third of the way through. Wow, tremendous value being delivered within the first 30 seconds of the Remodeler Show. Today, what I have is I am going to go through 10 ways to deliver a remarkable client experience to your remodeling clients. These are things that, for a lot of you, might be just a nice reminder. But we actually, Bailey found this content. She's like, hey, this is something from a while back. Maybe we should send this out. And I said, you know what? How about that is what we'll cover on Monday's Remodeler Show. That's something to keep in mind. As you guys create content, I think sometimes we think that we need to keep creating brand new. But there's a lot of content that maybe did well, performed well, popped for you, had a lot of engagement that you posted 2 years ago, 18 months ago, 6 months ago, even 3 months ago. It is okay to reuse that content. Most likely, as I read through this, I bet you the people listening to this, there might be a small percentage of you who actually have heard this before. And even if you've heard this before, there's still value in hearing something again. So when you're thinking of content, don't necessarily think that you always have to create brand new stuff. Think back into your archives and reuse some of that. Happy Monday, says Rhonda. Happy Monday to you as well. One thing to also keep in mind is that I like to receive swag, SWAG, stuff from Remodelers on the Rise. I'm sorry, Remodeler Show, Remodelers on the Rise of the podcast. This is from Michael Anschel with OA Design, Build, and Architecture. I showed up in my office today, and right outside there was a box from Michael along with this. Look at this beautiful tumbler. Is that what these are called? A little tumbler. I filled it with water based on Facebook posts. I think Michael likes to fill this with brewski, but it is 12:03 p.m. Eastern on Monday, so we're going to go with some water. But thank you, Michael, for sending the box of swag. If you go to remodelyourmarketing.com and you scroll on to the bottom, you'll find my office address. Don't be shy, people, because if you send me something, you'll be featured just like Michael on the Remodeler Show. All right. 10 ways to deliver a remarkable client experience. We're going to cruise through these one at a time. As I go through them, you guys might have a comment or two, or feel free to ask a random question that you've been wanting to ask. So the first one in 10 ways to deliver a remarkable client experience is communication. I'm going to read a little bit of what I wrote, and then I'll just share some additional thoughts. Client communication reduces stress for us and for them. Client communication reduces stress. A lot of times when you think about what you're stressed about, anxious about, worried about, a lot of it comes back to, boy, I'm not communicating with them. I've got to deliver that news even if it's bad. Client communication reduces stress. So again, 10 ways to deliver a remarkable client experience. Where do I start? Communication. Answering the phone. Calling back in a reasonable amount of time. Responding to that text message. Now, having boundaries, we don't need them calling us at 9 o'clock and expecting us to reply back at 9 p.m. We got to have boundaries, but answering the phone, calling back in a reasonable amount of time. Be timely in your communication via email and text. It's nice when people do this, right? As we have people that we purchase their service or their product, when they communicate well, it enhances our experience. I wrote, especially if you're dreading a call because something's delayed or something unexpected pops up, make the call, eat the frog, get it done. Show your client that you're on top of what's happening and working to make it right. Another just practical idea related to communication is to make sure that you have regular check-in meetings, regular rhythm with your clients. Some of my clients have Friday phone calls. And every Friday, I don't care if you're in production, if you're in just the planning stage, every client that's active gets a call on Friday from the owner, even in this case, the owner is not involved in the day in and day out. Maybe you set it up, it's a bigger project, and the client knows that Monday afternoon and Thursday morning or Thursday afternoon is when you guys have your weekly check-ins. Have that regular cadence and that regular rhythm so that you have your communication on point. So again, let me repeat that. 10 ways to deliver a remarkable client experience. And I started with number 1, which is communication. Okay. Next one. Change orders. Hang on, I got to get my chime. You guys won't know if we're still on the previous one or on the next one unless I have these chimes going. We got to get that going. There we go. Now we're cooking. All right. The second one is change orders. This reminder, Mr. and Mrs. Remodelers, to make sure that we deal with change orders when they happen. You want to give your client a great experience, make sure you don't save these change orders for the end of the project. As they happen, one client recently said, we log the change or extra on the invoice immediately and highlight it in red until it's complete. This way it's in our face until it's done and we miss nothing. It also helps end the project on a high note. So we've talked about this on the Remodeler Show, making sure that if there is a change order that we work hard, we battle to write it up immediately. Ideally, your client is signing off on any change orders and they are paying you before any work happens. And I'm empathetic to know that that can't or doesn't always happen, but that should be your goal. At the very least, on that next progress payment, that change order should be very clear, and on that next progress payment to collect your payment there. What happens when we put this off is client experience suffers. And why do I say that? Because you're ending the project. When we want to be ending on a high note, you're ending that project by showing them and finally putting together all of the different change orders from 2 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, 3.5 weeks ago, 5 days ago. And they're surprised by it. They wouldn't have had as big of an issue, or they would have written you a check if you would ask for it. So don't save it for the end. The other thing that happens when you save it for the end is you get emotional. You sit there and go, this didn't go quite right. I'm just going to take $150 off this. I'm just going to take $300 off this. And that eats into your gross profit on that project. So you want to deliver a great experience for your clients. Make sure you get those change orders taken care of as they happen. That was the second one. Michael, did you see that were you dialed in right when it happened? Look at this. Look at what I'm sipping out of. Now, I did wash it because it's hashtag Corona. I didn't pull it out of the box and then immediately fill it with water. I did wash it, but it's a lovely, lovely cup. I feel like it really classes up the Remodeler Show instead of what I normally mugs that I drink out of. I also highlighted, you just want to talk change orders and serious stuff, but I also thought I would venture to guess 95 out of 100 times that Michael Anschel uses this little thing, there's beer in there. True or false? We require change orders are paid 100% up front. Does anyone else do this? Michael's asking the other listeners and the other watchers if you guys do that. That's a best practice. That helps with client experience. All right. So 10 ways to deliver a remarkable client experience. The first one was communication. The second one was change orders. The third one I have here is schedule. Schedule. Communicate your schedule early and often. So on the way I kind of wrote this up was on the macro, on the big picture, show them the full view. When do you have a full bathroom or kitchen? Yes, when you do, let me just read it. When you do a full bathroom or kitchen gut, show your client a standard timeline sheet. Show them exactly what we should be doing in week 1, week 2, week 3, 4, 5, etc. When you tell a client 5 to 7 weeks on a huge kitchen, they don't understand, or on even a kitchen remodel. When you show them the order of operations, they get it. So this highlight of making sure we're bringing up the schedule, making them aware of what the next step is in the process, what they can expect to come next. It is not a great experience on the client side to not know exactly where we're at, to not know if people are showing up today or tomorrow, to have a day where something doesn't happen on a job and we didn't communicate that. So if you want to give your clients a great experience, one of the ways and one of the things we need to focus on is the schedule part and communicating that well. Same for us. Rhonda says that's the 100% upfront. A Gantt chart. Yeah, have that Gantt chart. Show them what that looks like. Yes, 100% with next scheduled invoice. So this is back to the change orders. 100% with next scheduled invoice. And if the next invoice is substantial completion or final, then it's due immediately. I like it. Let me see who that was. All right, keep the questions coming. All right, so that one was related to schedule. Ding dong. Number 4, as far as how to deliver a remarkable client experience, is make money. It's kind of a weird one. Make money. I remember whenever I did this a year ago, I think I had 7 or 8 of them, and I posted it in Remodelers Community. And I said, what else comes to your guys' mind when it comes to delivering a great client experience? And I remember Paul J. McManus is the one that tossed this in there. And what Paul said was, charge enough so that you can afford the staff, tools, and equipment to serve them properly. It's not an obvious one that comes to mind, like communication, like change orders, like schedule, but it's very true. It is hard to deliver a great experience if we aren't charging enough to have a good support team around us. If we aren't charging enough and our team is just not that talented because we're trying to save some money by hiring that B-C+ player, right? We can't deliver as great of experience if we can't afford to hire or to buy tools that are helping us be more efficient and productive. So I think that's kind of an interesting one that Paul shared previously, and that is number 4 on the 10 ways to deliver a remarkable client experience. Another person said, we talk about the schedule all the time. They get a copy of the schedule as well. Oh, hi, Nancy. Nancy, if you go to streamyard.com/Facebook, it will show you how to make it so that I can see your name in the immediate comments that pop up on the screen. I sure would appreciate that. But thank you. Yes, schedule all the time. And you know, there's some pushback I hear from clients on, like, they get a copy of the schedule as well. I know you're playing with a little bit of fire there, right? They're like, well, time out. Like, this thing you gave me a week ago said that you guys were going to start this on Thursday, or you're going to start this, last week. What's going on? It does open up to some questions, but I would say the pros and the benefits of them being in tune, for you to talk through the schedule, for them to know, to educate them that, look, this might change. This is not we set this schedule up and it's never going to change. This is a working, breathing document that's going to change, here or there from time to time. But we want you to be aware and communicate clearly with you of what you can expect. So I err on the side of, let's not keep that close to our chest. Let's let them see that, and let's communicate well with them. Oh, we got some people saying good morning to each other. Hi. Hi, Rhonda. Hi, Nancy. That's the queen bees going. All right, let's keep on trucking. Number 5 on 10 ways to deliver a remarkable client experience is related to job site cleanliness. Clients, and I've been surprised about this over the years, how often when I'm talking to remodelers and I say, when you're asking your clients what they value about you guys, what you do that others don't, comments that you get, when I see survey responses come in at the project completion survey and I see what they mention, job site cleanliness comes up often. And when you think about it, a lot of times you are working on a home that they still live in. They might have little kids running around, and the way that you go around with that metal detector or that little magnet thing and get all of those nails, if you're doing outside stuff, and all of the different things that go in that can fall. What am I trying to say? That can fall in the yard in the grass, and you just clean. You got the build clean system. You put the tools away. You lay down the floor protector. You've got some zip walls to protect one side of the house from the other. All of those things play into the experience that a client has when they remodel. So always be looking at that. How can you continue to improve it? How can you talk about it more during your sales process? Because it is something that clients really, really value. Michael says, why is it so hard for the field staff to understand the importance of keeping the yard and job site clean? Question mark, exclamation mark, question mark, exclamation mark. Michael might have a little bit of pent-up frustration on this topic. But let's think about that question, though. Why is it so hard for the field staff to understand? One, they don't care as much as you, Michael. And you might say, but I got a really good team. I got great trade partners. I got great people. But Nobody will ever care about it as much as you do as the owner of the business. That's something to keep in mind. The other thing is, okay, the way we've been explaining it has not really hit home. How can we continue to educate our team about the importance of this? How can we make a big old stink in a positive way when we see one of our clients or one of our employees actually going the extra mile? You know, what if we had this month? Hey, I just made up a trophy. You're having a team meeting with everybody. I made up a trophy, and you come up with this trophy that's like the broom trophy. I'm making this up as I go. I'm giving the broom trophy this month to Bailey. I have seen her multiple times this month go the extra mile in making sure that these job sites are clean. Congratulations. And you take a broom and you paint it gold, and everybody kind of chuckles, and it's stupid, but it's hammering home a point. You know, the biggest thing that comes to my mind is we've got to just continue to explain the value of it. Sometimes in a guys, straighten up, let's get this going. In other times of just finding the examples of how they're doing it well and just praising that and rewarding them for that and talking about that and saying, and opening up a team meeting by saying, guys, why is it important that we go the extra mile when it comes to job site cleanliness? Make them answer it. People don't do that enough when they're with their team, when they're having a team meeting. You guys, and myself included, like to tell people what's what and tell people how this goes. And this is why we do this. When you pause and shut your mouth and ask a question and let them respond, they take more ownership of it. It makes them actually engage and think instead of just listen. So those are some kind of some reminders, Michael, and some thoughts related to that thought. Why does Michael's pretty picture show up with his Facebook comment and mine doesn't? Who said that? Nancy, listen again. I've already told you once. How many times do I need to tell you this, Nancy? I just told you 3 minutes and 30 seconds ago. You have to go to Stream. I can talk to Nancy like that because she's a longtime client. StreamYard.com/Facebook. Nancy, go there. StreamYard.com/Facebook. I bet you Bailey's going to put it in the comments. Click on that, and then it'll walk you through how you can improve it, and then we can see your pretty picture show up, just like Michael's. All right. Good engagement, folks. Good thoughts. Next up. Number 6 on the top, not even just necessarily top 10, just 10 ways to deliver a remarkable client experience, is about little things. I have said it before. I've probably said it over my 12 years in business. I'd say like legit, probably 402 times in coaching calls, etc. Running a successful remodeling business is not about doing one thing right. It's not about finding some magic bullet. It's a combination of doing a lot of little things right. Little things. How do we deliver a great client experience? We excel at the little things. We go the extra mile, and we bring in the newspaper that we see at the end of the driveway. We see the trash can at the other end after it was already picked up and taken by the trash man, and we roll it right in there. We smile. We be pleasant. We are enjoyable to interact and work with and be around. This goes for our whole team. You can hear a smile on the phone. You know, just that a little bit more upbeat. That goes a long way. That's a little thing. Don't just do it yourself. Train your team. Ask them for examples of when your team's gone above and beyond to serve a client. The little things. I would love your team to be like Templeton Building Company, where if you actually asked one of Ben Templeton's employees and said, tell me about little things, he has talked about this and made it part of their culture of their business and made it part of just their normal meetings to identify little things, to talk about little things. Guys, it's about the little things. We have to excel at the little things. They've heard him say that over and over again to the point where the people on his team live and breathe it and understand it and do it. And it helps them deliver a great client experience. So those are some ideas related to little things. It's not about some magic bullet, folks. All right. There you go. Bailey says, grant StreamYard permission. Don't just give StreamYard permission. Grant them permission. Our change orders are almost always due at acceptance, unless it was like 2 years ago where they added all new furnace, water heater, and had to demo fill, re-pour their basement floor due to being hollow. Oh, Nelly. Okay, so maybe that turned into a series of payments. Okay, that was Wade. Wade, how you doing, bud? I saw you comment the other day saying you were liking some piece of content. I can't remember what it was, but I'm glad you're here and glad you're getting value from this. And that's good, right? Do it, acceptance. Man, if you do that, it just solves so many challenges, so many problems. Bailey is now showing off her English degree because she said grant StreamYard. I would have said give, but I'm a more simple person. Okay. All right, some little things. Next up, number 7. What's your takeaway so far, people, by the way? Which of those 7? Communication, change orders, schedule, make money, job site cleanliness, little things. Which one of those kind of jumps out at you as going, that's one I can work on, or that's a good reminder. I'm going to double down on that. All right, number 7, your team. How do you deliver a great client experience? This one might be the most important. All of them are important, but this one might be the most important. You hire good people and get rid of not good people. There's my English degree coming through. You hire good people and get rid of not good people. It makes a huge difference to your team's morale and the face of your company when you hold on to a bad employee and you know you need to make the change, but you're not doing any kind of recruiting. So the person that you need to let go has all the leverage on you because you can't let him go because you need to get the work done. But did you hear what I just said? You're not doing any recruiting. You don't have job postings out there. You're not interviewing, which, by the way, when you are actively doing that, which is hard, it's still hard to find good people. But when you're actively recruiting, you actually talk to somebody that would be a good fit. Guess who doesn't have all the leverage now? That bad employee. You have more of an opportunity to let that person go and find other employment and try to improve and upgrade your team. We underappreciate and undervalue how much impact a bad employee has on the morale of the whole team. I can't remember the exact example, but it was about a year ago. One of my employees lost a really key, solid, great employee. The biggest reason, he was sick of dealing with the guy that is a bad apple that needs to go. And he finally had enough of it. It's not fun to work here because of so-and-so. So we have to make sure that we don't hang on to bad employees, let alone those bad employees are probably also not helping the client experience either. And we need to continue to strive for a better team, a stronger team, which means we need to go through some people in order to do that. We need to keep recruiting. We need to keep looking. We need to be patient. It takes time, but you want to deliver a great client experience. If you have a great team, you're 60% of the way there, maybe 70%. 42% of all statistics are made up, but you know what I mean. Your team, number 7, your team. Wait, what? You mean recruit before you need? Radical thoughts. I think what I'm hearing here is that might be a shock jock thought. Where's my shock jock thing? Un momento. They updated my app that has all my sounds, but this would have been perfect. Shock jock, because yes, that's shocking. Ed Earl, when I had him on a week or two ago, was talking about this. We've got to always be building up our bench. What's the worst that can happen? If you have job postings up there and you're actually not hiring, but you have job postings up there for a lead carpenter and somebody reaches out to you and you have a process that you walk people through so you're not just wasting a ton of time, but you have 1 or 2 interviews a month with what seemingly look like qualified candidates. And what's the worst that can happen? You know, we ended up not having an open spot right now. You know, the team shuffled, or we ended up, hiring somebody recently. But I'm so glad that we met because that can change quickly. That might change next week. That might change in 2 months. But now we've gotten a chance to know each other. And I have your name, I have your number, and I'm going to reach. Like, that's the worst case that can happen if you find somebody good. Or it's going to push you to make a swap. Or it's going to push you to add somebody new, even though it's a little bit of a stretch and you might not have as much backlog or production. You might take that risk and just hire them right there. So yes, we need to be recruiting. We got to always be selling. We need to always be recruiting. Radical thought. Okay. Uh-oh, folks. Hang on. Uh-oh. I just got a text from the text club. Hey, Kyle, the question and answer show. Oh, hang on. I might go back on that. I think I just got a text from somebody who might be watching today's show live. And he said, the question and answer show you did last Thursday where you said you were answering my question, will that be available on the podcast? Otherwise, would you have a link I could watch at? So if you go to, where's it at? Let me show you on the screen. Join. If you text join to 516-219-9736. We'll send you a text every so often. It's kind of different content than what you see anywhere else. And this was one of the gentlemen who responded, and I answered his question. So to see the archive of last Thursday, if you go to theremodellersshow.com, my friend, you can see it there. And I will respond to him via text. When you text me, I can respond back just one-on-one. All right, let's keep the show moving. It's 12:25, and I've got 3 more. Your comments have been excellent. And go to this next one. Sarah's thoughts. When I created this content, I remember asking her something. And here's what she said. My wife commented that she recently had an appliance repairman that was clear, respectful, and made her feel comfortable with him being in her home. Yeah, that's that story. I said, how do you deliver great experience? And she was like, well, from the start, from the way that he communicated before they showed up, I knew he was going to be there in 10 minutes. Well dressed, well kept, or, just professional looking. When he knocked on the door, he stepped back a foot just so that, he was respectful. He asked permission to come in. He put on booties. He did all of these little things to make sure that she was comfortable. And he's just friendly. He was smiling. It goes such a long ways. So she was giving that example of, you want to give a client great experience, do those little things, be kind, communicate. Frankly, it kind of summarizes a lot of the things that we've been talking about today. How would you behave? How would your team behave in a house that would be worthy of a referral? Be kind, respectful, clean. Make sure that if you're alone with a lady in the house, that you make them feel comfortable. That's exactly what she said, quote unquote. For the appliance repair company that came to my house, doing the little things has led to 2 referrals from my wife. She had a friend that needed a appliance repair and told him about this company. And then she also commented on a Facebook post, hey, does anybody know a good repairman, a trusty repairman for the washing machine? And she had such a good experience that she actually commented and said, we had a great experience. Here's their name. Oh, the other thing is, I said, do what you say you're going to do and don't leave the toilet seat up. I remember when we went through our basement remodel, one of the guys that worked there regularly, he used the restroom. We already talked about the restroom. He used the one. But you know what he did? Unlike yours truly, who has been very well trained over the years to put the toilet seat down when I am finished using the restroom facilities, he always left it up. And she's like, why does he always leave it up? Doesn't he have any respect? Didn't his mama ever teach him or his wife ever teach him? It's a little thing and kind of funny. All right. Cool. Next one up is number 9. Evaluate what worked and what didn't work. What worked and what didn't work. Did I just talk about our bathroom habits? I apologize for that, but hopefully there was value there. Did somebody laugh about it a little bit? Nah, okay. Number 9, evaluate what worked, what didn't work. If you end the project and actually sit down as a team and think about what worked and what didn't work, if you take the time after the final bill is collected, all your money's collected, and you sit down with a client and say, or get on a phone call with them, could you tell us what worked about this process? What did you enjoy? What did you like? And also, what didn't work? If you take the time to do that internally amongst your team, if you do that, especially with the client, you are going to get so much good feedback and ideas and clarity and specifics that you can't help but be better. You can't help but become a better remodeler who gives a better client experience. It's hard to do that, just a what worked, what didn't, and identify things to work on, improve. So do that internally, do that with the client. If you just wrapped up, here's practicality, folks. You're not listening to this so that you can hear me talk and hear some jokes and hear some ideas. You're doing this to actually make yourselves better remodelers, sometimes even better people, depending on what we're talking about. But if you like that idea, think about the project that you finished in the last week or so, maybe 2 weeks. Pick up the phone and say, hey, I was listening to this content today, and one of the ideas they gave is to call a recent client and just kind of step back and say, what worked about our process, about everything, and what didn't work. I would love to hear of some of you guys actually doing that. I would love it. Michael says, we introduced the concept of being a stand for our clients and being a stand for each other, representing them in each moment, standing for them so that they always feel cared for and our actions are driven with them in mind. Less us and them and more we. I like that a lot. Can I add number 11? No, you can't. But it was nice of you to ask. Actually, you can, because number 10, Michael, we're going to take yours as number 10, is what? Can I add number 11? No, you can add 10. Have a purpose. Create a mission, vision, value statement for your company. So you can expand on that, Michael, but I'll give an example. One of my clients, I've had a longtime client that's outside of the remodeling industry. They're an IT company in Connecticut. Been working with them for about 11 years now. And actually made the decision earlier in the year where I'm riding off into the sunset. They continue to grow. I've been their marketing director, kind of remote, and we're making that transition to take their marketing manager, putting her in that marketing director role, hiring somebody new. Actually, I was just doing an interview this morning with a candidate. But they excel at having a mission, yes, a vision, and also they have 5 things of how we do it. Let me just pull that up real quick because it'll hammer home our points here. And Michael, you're number 10. They have core values, I should say. Great people, keep it simple, efficiency, integrity, corporate responsibility. That corporate responsibility, each one has a little tagline after it. I'm a positive contributor to my community in both resources and time. They also have how we do it. Value, value, value. I deliver value at every interaction. Communicate. I keep my teammates and my clients informed at all times. Under promise, over deliver. 5P. You ever wonder where I got that 5P thing from? IT Direct. And then move quickly, don't rush. What's interesting about it is every meeting with more than 2 people in it, that mission, core values, and how we do it gets recited. Each person takes 2 and we go around the horn. And for years, I thought, this is a waste of time. Why are we doing this? We could just get into what we're wanting to do. But over time, what I have realized is the power of really embedding that into your business, of taking those things serious enough that everybody in your team actually knows them and lives them out. And we highlight times that we actually achieve them, or when we let our clients down and don't achieve it, when we don't 5P something. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. So Michael, the title of this is 10 things and 10 ways that you can deliver a more remarkable client experience. I think that's a great number 10. Have a purpose, create a vision, value. When you have that out there, it's easier for us to attain to something and to realize why we care so much about the client experience. So there you go, folks. It's 12:32. We're 2 minutes late. Love y'all. See you tomorrow. I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow, but we'll see. Send me swag. I like getting swag. If you want to be a guest like I had on Friday, where I just interviewed and had almost like a mini coaching call with Bram, reach out, comment, reach out. And also sign up for Remodeler's Autopilot. If you're a remodeler who hasn't stayed in touch with their previous clients at all, please sign up for Remodeler's Autopilot. It's $1 to try it, and it works really, really well. Peace out, my friends.